Alright, it's time for Unit 4. Unit 4 is trig graphing. So when we're graphing these trig functions, you need to remember a few things. The first thing is that the period of cosine is generally 2 pi. So let's start off by drawing myself a little grid here, and we'll talk about phase shifts and all that. First thing, this has a phase shift of +2, which means it's going to be moved up 2. So what I'm going to do is draw a line here, and that's going to be my new midline. I know that cosine goes above and below the midline. I also have a vertical shift and a phase shift in this problem. So the vertical shift is to the right, pi over 2. So let me get these things drawn, and then I will label them. This is right, pi over 2, and this is up 2. Now the other thing we need to talk about is the amplitude, and the amplitude, normally if there's a number out front here, it's going to change the amplitude. So the amplitude in this problem is 1, so I need to go above 1, so that'll be up to 3, and then below 1, that'll be down to 0. So now I can think of what a cosine curve normally looks like. A cosine curve normally looks something like this, if it were the midline, but since it's negative, it's going to look something like this. I need to figure out where I'm going to end. So if the period is 2 pi, and I'm ending, I'm going to go 2 pi from pi over 2. Remember, this is 2 pi. Then we need to think where I'm going to end. So I'll add those together. And let's see if I get a common denominator. This is 4 pi plus 1 pi. This will be 5 pi over 2. So I'm going to put 4 notches here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is 5 pi over 2. And it looks like we're actually counting by pi over 2, which is nice. 1, 2, this will be 3 pi over 2. Sometimes you get lucky when the phase shift matches the period, so you don't have to figure out all these different values with a lot of work. Okay, so now I know that this thing is going to, since it's negative, start down here, then it's going to go through the midline, then it's going to work its way back up to its maximum, then it goes through the midline again, and then it works its way back down. So my cosine curve should look something like this. And that's it for the first one. Let's do another one. This is 4 sine of 2x. This one has an amplitude change and a period change. So let's draw with amplitude is 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the amplitude is 4. And normally the period is 2 pi. In this problem, it's 2 pi divided by 2. So the period is just pi. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4 notches. This is pi. And that'll be pi over 2. And I know that a sine curve starts here, goes up to its maximum, back to the midline, down to its minimum, back to the midline. So my sine curve looks something like this. And that's it for trig graphing.